Hey guys, what's going on? Ramon Azab here, aka Remon, Team Skunk. Just wanted to make another video. It's been a while since the last one. I knew I'd said that I was going to make a Geonosian Spy unboxing video last time, but I'm holding off on the Geonosian Spy because with mods out and now that there's these new characters, I've kind of changed my direction uh, with the next teams that I'm working on. The Geonosian Spy, although, I still think he's, a cool character and has some merit, on that Geonosian team. I've kind of shifted focus a bit from doing that next to working on the Jawa team, which I think is going to be something that's going to be pretty cool. I think it will work well in the new raid that comes out because the Jawas are very good against the droids, and I also think that it'll work well possibly in PvP as well because it seems that the combined team has a pretty cool synergy, and it may not work out the way I envision it, but I definitely am looking forward to getting them all leveled up and seeing what happens. Now, when we last when I last made a video, I believe I was still getting towards the end stages of my droid team, which is now complete. So, as you can see with the power, I'm at 37,000, which is not, it's not breaking the charts or anything, but I have managed to hold rank 1 now since mods came out pretty definitively for about about a week now. So I mean, I'd say a little bit over a week. It's been I have not moved at Pacific payout. I mean, I have had a couple pokes here and there, but I had definitely certainly haven't gotten out of the top 5 since mods came out, and even prior to that, I was consistently holding rank 1 on my payout. At that point. So we do like to alternate a little bit in our guild. Just recently, since the new updates, and since my droid team has come into its own, it's been kind of difficult for them to take my team out. So I've managed to hold that top spot. But the team now is a um, maxed out team. So I have IG-86 at gear 11. I have the B2 at gear 10, Engineer at gear 10, Grievous at gear 10, and HK at gear 10. But what's really important now are these new mods, right? So since the last time since my last video, we've actually had a ton of changes to the game. For a couple of days, the mods were on steroids. So, some people were really running some insane teams. People were soloing raids. It was quite bananas. I mean, it was. I was able to beat Galactic War with my droid team on auto all the way through without even losing 3/4 of my protection. So it was slightly overbound, slightly insane, slightly overpowering these new mods. I did not expect them to be as powerful as they were. Um, then they went ahead and nerfed those mods and made them significantly weaker than what we initially invested in, which is, I have to be honest, I was a little upset about that because, you sell a product and then, we invest in it and then you change it, which, listen, I understand that the mods were a little bit, well, actually very overpowered. So, I mean, I kind of understand, and I think that the current mods are more realistic and probably a better way to have been rolled out initially. But when you roll out those first mods initially and then show us what it could be like with plus 97% protection, and then reduce it to 23% protection, that's a significant decrease. So I mean, I can understand where some of the people are coming from, where they're upset about it. I personally just would like to be able to reallocate some of the credits that I spent on some mods that were nerfed to the ground and kind of put them into mods that I think were, well, now that I know that, where the mods have changed to and what mods are worth the investment, I would rather make the investment in some of those mods than some of the ones I did initially. They also changed some of the primary stats on the mods that I initially had. So I got some defense mods where I didn't even I didn't invest in one single defense mod. So I mean, uh, anyway, I mean, listen, it is what it is. It's a big change for the game, and people are really upset about the nerf to the mods. But I got to tell you, I've still managed to make significant changes to these characters, even though the mods have been nerfed considerably. They're not worthless in any by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, they're definitely changing the statistics of these characters significantly. I mean, I have a speed Grievous that right now is running at 168 speed, I believe. Yeah, 168. So with the mods, I've increased his speed 71. So he's going a lot faster. I've also managed to give him a little bit of increased protection and health. Um, increase his potency a little bit, his tenacity a little bit, his damage a little bit, and his critical chance a little bit as well. And with this droid team, you get turn meter with critical hits. So you're with the HK leader ability, so you want to crit as much as possible. And I also gave him um, a speed mod set. Now, just to go over like what the mods mean. I mean, I'm sure some of you have already, uh, you know, done some research on this, and I'm coming in a little bit late here to talk about it. But the 5 dot mods um, are all spread out, or all the mods are really spread out into different sets, right? So you have speed sets, you have potency sets, you have tenacity sets, you have crit damage sets, you have critical chance sets, offense sets, defense sets. You have a set for pretty much everything. Um, the set bonuses are what you get from those sets. The primary statistics and the secondary statistics may have nothing to do with what the set bonus is. So if you have a speed mod, which is shown here by this character looking like he's running on the mod, that means that that is going to be part of a speed set. So when I complete the 4, which you need to get a complete speed set, I get a 10% speed increase. Okay. If the mods were not at max level, if they were not at 15, they would be it would be a 5% increase in speed. So getting a 4 set speed set is great, and also obviously for Grievous, who's suffering in health, giving him some a health bonus helps. But I believe that honestly, I'm probably going to change those health sets at some point to either critical chance sets or maybe even potency sets. We'll see. I just obviously we had to make some adjustments with the changes that were made to the mods, and I also had to start off with some mods in the first place just to slap some on my PvP team initially. So health sets were the ones that were the most plentiful initially. I was able to 3-star the speed challenge and get that going, and since then I've been able to uh, simulate the speed set matches. Now, the speed sets, I do have a significant amount of speed mods. I was able to, fortunately, make a bunch of purchases prior to um, uh, the decrease in drop rate on the mods. Initially they were dropping at 100%. I found out, or they posted really that they were going to be decreasing the drop rates on the mods to more like character shards in Cantina battles. So when I realized that, I purchased some energy in Cantina, and I used that energy uh, to purchase a whole ton of speed mods so that I could try to set those up. Now that what I'm lacking there is credits, and that's really been the crunch now at this point is the credits. And I think that everybody can say that having to decide between leveling a character, let's say to level 80, or 2 level up mods, is a tough decision. It's just another avenue you have to cross to get a character to max level, and it's just more credits, and credits were already kind of the crux, or the kind of the lacking item here in the game. So, or the hardest resource to get. So I mean, it's unless you're buying credit packs, you're going to be behind the eight ball a little bit on this, and it's going to take you some time to catch up. Like I said, fortunately, I was given some good information, and I made an investment in some of the mods. So right now, I'm not getting any more mods at the moment. I'm spending my Cantina energy on characters, because again, I'm trying to level up these Jawas, and I'm almost finished with the Jawa himself, getting him to 7 stars. So I'm just working on some of them. Now, as far as my arena team goes, just to give you guys a quick gander as to how that looks, I wanted to show you from last time what kind of a difference there is now in this team. So let's go ahead and get into a battle here. Show you what a full maxed out droid team with General Grievous looks like. Now, what I typically like to do is go for Anakin first nowadays, because when I see him, I mean, obviously I don't want him to go multiple times because of decreasing others' health. Although in most situations here, I'd probably go for Qui-Gon first. I'm going to go ahead and take out Anakin because Qui-Gon is pretty squishy. So I was also able to increase IG-86's speed and tenacity, which has helped him out as far as being able to resist stuns. Now Grievous, with that increased crit chance, is getting a ton of turn meter on top of that increased speed as well. I'm going to go ahead and do a Sinister Laugh here, reduce some turn meter. Going to do an AoE. Continue to try to work on Qui-Gon here. Another AoE. Now these I usually drop on Rogue Guard. Resisted. Those thermal detonators are really just unreliable. I also increased B2's damage significantly, so B2 now packs a punch. But as you can see, I mean, this team pretty much dominates. I mean, there's not much that can really be done to compete with this team. So you see, like as there were only 2 characters on the board, and he crit twice, so that gave Grievous again 100% turn meter. He gets to go again, and I've increased his damage as well. So everybody just hits really hard, and the team overall has just been pretty unbeatable. So I'm happy with that. But overall, my experience with the mods has been pretty good, because again, even though I'm kind of upset that they nerfed the mods to hell initially, I think that there's a lot of benefit to working with the new mods. Obviously, it's not quite as big of a bonus, or quite as big of an advantage, but it still can get there. I've seen secondaries that have plus 20 speed. I have one on Grievous that's plus 17 speed. So even though you only have that one arrow mod on the top that can increase speed, there's still a ton of ways to increase speed with secondary statistics, and get that speed up there. I mean, plus 71 speed is nothing to laugh at, and I could probably get General Grievous' speed up even higher. I could probably get him closer to over 100 speed increase, and that would be pretty phenomenal. I mean, I just need to find the right mods, and that's really the main thing to understand about these mods, is that they're all different, right? So there's no, mods have all different statistics, and in most cases, you're going to have to make an investment into the mod to determine whether it's worth it or not. And it's just that's the part that sucks, is because again, with the credit crunch, having to make investments into these mods just to see if they're even worth leveling up any further is kind of a tough decision. Just for example here, you know, let's take a look here at this mod right here. So this is 11.25% critical damage. That's a great mod. Okay, but the thing is that if I go ahead and level that up, I don't know if the second secondary stat is going to be speed. It could be a great mod. It could be a mod that gives me plus 15 speed as the second ability, but I won't know until I've spent credits on it. And it's tough to make that call sometimes and invest all those credits into a mod to find out that it ends up not being the most ideal mod to have. I do believe that plus protection percentage is definitely a lot better than plus health percentage. So I've been making my investment into those protection mods, or sorry, the mods that have protection percentage as the primary statistic, rather than making the investment into the mods that have plus health, for example, as the primary statistic. But again, secondary statistic here, plus 2% potency. That's pretty interesting. This has plus critical chance. That's great. But for all I know, the third secondary statistic maybe plus 9 speed, and that makes that mod that much better. So I mean, right now at the beginning, it's going to be more of playing a game of trying to put pieces in the right place to get your team as most effective as possible at the moment, and then you're going to make your adjustments later on to get the mods in there that you really like. Part of the reason I'm working on a Jawa team right now is to get the Jawas prepared for that critical damage mod challenge, because that is a great bonus. It's plus 30% critical damage when you get the set bonus for 4 critical damage mods. Now, here's a look at a couple of my Jawas. Obviously, the Jawa Engineer is maxed out. I was able to get Chief Nebat up pretty quickly because I had a ton of saved squad arena tokens. So by about 1 o'clock this afternoon, I'll be able to have Chief Nebat at 6 stars, and he's got a great set of tools. Just to take a look at him at max, Chief Nebat at max with his taunt. Okay, which is called distracting negotiations. Chief Nebat taunts for 2 turns and gains heal over time for 3 turns, reducing the cooldowns of all Jawa and Droid allies by 1. Now that's a really cool ability because again, if he goes after, let's say, a ton of your droids go, or if he goes after all your Jawas go, which can be manipulated by manipulating the speed, your Nebat is going to reduce all the cooldowns of everybody that uses special ability. So that's great. This is a really cool ability here. Deal physical damage to target enemy and call a random ally to assist, dealing 20% less damage. If the assisting ally is a Jawa or a droid, call another random ally to assist. All Jawa called to assist gain stealth for 3 turns. That is phenomenal. Now, if you're running a team of 5 Jawas, you're going to call in 2 other Jawas for an assist, okay? And they're going to deal 20% less damage, but all the Jawas that got called in for the assist will now have stealth for 3 turns. So it's just a great ability, and overall it's gonna help out with that synergy of the Jawa team. I think I'm really excited about it. Now I also am looking to try out Nebat with some of my droids as well to see what he does. I really can't see his leader ability surpassing HK-47's. I think HK-47's leader ability is just too awesome, if I had to say. But Jawa and droid allies gain 30% critical chance and inflict critical chance down for 3 turns on a critical hit. So, for example, if you were to take HK-47 out as leader, Okay, you would lose turn meter with all the droids. Okay, but you still would crit at a high rate. You still would be fast because Jawa Engineer would speed you up, and he wouldn't lose speed with him being in the lineup because it's Jawa or droids that increase Jawa Engineer's unique. But you would also get the critical chance down for 3 turns on a critical hit, which if you're doing a ton of AoEs and you get crits, will mean that you're going to be spreading critical chance down on a ton of different people. You're going to be doing a lot of you're going to be you're going to be giving crit chance down probably to everybody when by the end of all your droids doing AoE. So that's pretty significant. Again, not sure exactly how he would fit there. I still think HK-47 lead is going to be the better way to go, but I'd like to try it out. And finally, deal physical damage to target enemy with a 70% chance to grant protection up, equal to 20% of Nebat's max health for 2 turns to a random ally who is not stealthed. That's kind of a weird one, but I still think it's pretty cool. I'd like to see how this Jawa team works together, let's say in GW, and then maybe just kind of tool around with some different mods and see how I can make them most effective, and possibly even run that team in Arena at some point. Although I do have some other sandbox teams I've been planning on, some incorporating, let's say, great leader abilities like Boba Fett's leader, with some different players or different characters that would mesh well with that. So, I mean, I'm contemplating a ton of different ideas, but the Jawa team seems to be the next team I'm going for, specifically because I really like the Jawa Scavenger as well, which we're going to get to in a moment, and overall the Jawa synergy together looks like it's going to be something cool to look at, or something cool to try. Now, the Jawa Scavenger is really cool because he has the ability to immediately detonate thermal detonators, which is great when you're working with the Jawa Engineer, because this also inflicts negative status effects. So you have a 50% chance to deal defense down, healing immunity, and tenacity down for 2 turns on detonated targets. So what's cool about that, for any of you that have Dengar, you may be aware of the fact that the tenacity down is a great tool against a raid boss, because that gives you the ability to inflict negative status effects on that raid boss, such as speed down or offense down, things like that on a raid boss, which can extend your match. Also gives you a better chance to reduce turn meter on that raid boss as well. And turn meter reduction is the way to last out a raid battle. So I mean, if you're able to consistently reduce turn meter with characters like Tebow or characters like Chewbacca, and sustain within the match, because you're limiting the amount of attacks that raid boss can do to you, then something like tenacity down could be a great tool, especially now when we're talking about a new raid coming out, which is going to be specifically geared at fighting droids. So the tenacity down, I believe, will still be a huge bonus in the next raid. So I think that he's going to be a key character to have, as well as Dengar. Dengar is definitely on the list as somebody I'm going to be leveling up and working on for the next raid. Now, whenever a Jawa ally takes damage, 50% chance to place a thermal detonator on the attacking enemy that will explode after 2 turns. So that's cool, because that's a unique. So that means whenever an ally takes damage, there's a 50% chance for him to throw a thermal detonator on that target. So it's almost like a counter at that 50% chance to counter, and he can also explode those thermal detonators on command with his other ability. So that's great. Whenever Jawa Scavenger scores a critical hit, he gains stealth for 3 turns. That's also cool to go with the stealth that you get from Chief Nebat. At the end of each of his turns, Jawa Scavenger is stealthed. he has an 80% chance to give 2 random allies defense up for 2 turns, and an 80% chance to give a random ally offense up for 2 turns. Again, that's kind of a weird unique, but also pretty cool. I mean, I think that's pretty interesting. Deal physical damage to target enemy with a 50% chance to inflict offense down for 2 turns. This chance is doubled against droids. So again, against droids, the Jawa team I think is going to be definitely a way to go. I have a feeling that it's not a coincidence that they released these Jawas right before they're about to release a new raid that is primarily pitted against droids. So definitely interesting characters, definitely cool. Again, like I said, my Nebat is on his way. My Scavenger, I've been working on his shards. However, he's not leveled up at all. Let's take a look and see how many shards I have on my Scavenger. 100 out of 25. So he's on the way. But again, just really cool set of tools on these guys, and I'm looking forward to getting them leveled up and seeing what they can do. But other than that, I mean, again, just I know a lot of people have been complaining about Galactic Wars. Galactic Wars have changed a little bit now that people have mods. Because you're facing characters also with mods in Galactic Wars. I haven't had quite a problem. I do also have a large roster, so it I have a bit of room to play with my team. But it's still pretty interesting. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run my typical Galactic War team here, which is Phasma, First Order TIE Pilot, a modded up Resistance Trooper, and Geonosian Soldier, and IG-88. Now, for a couple of days there, while mods were juiced up, I was able to actually, like I said, just kind of auto through my Galactic Wars with one specific team. So I didn't lose any characters. I didn't even go down to my health bar. It was pretty ridiculous. I was able to finish Galactic Wars in 9 or 10 minutes. Let's do this. Okay. Now let's just get Geonosian Soldier out of here. Really, the only person here left that offers any kind of threat here is Luminara, so let's just get her out of the way. But, overall, like I said, just a lot of changes to the game over the last few weeks, and really interesting stuff. These new characters look really cool, and I'm excited about them. Again, I understand being upset about some of the changes that were made, especially since, again, they really weren't so forthcoming about what these mods were in the first place and what we should be doing with them, which is really the biggest plight I have, I guess. I mean, right, I mean, we had, time in advance to know about when we were getting a level cap increase. We had time in advance to know about when we were getting protection and what protection was. I mean, when these things rolled out, we were aware of what was coming in some way. When mods came out, they just kind of released a photo on the forums that was pretty ambiguous. It did not really explain anything. And then because of a leak, because of people, there was actually a bug in an update that they released, which allowed you through going into to search for a specific type of gear in that gear pack that they were selling for crystals for a couple of days. You were able to go through the basically click on the a full piece of an MK5 droid caller, and go to search like you would for any other piece of gear, and that would bring you to the mod tables. So you actually were able to see the mod tables before they were officially released in the game for everybody to play. And because of that discovery, they then explained at that moment or that night what mods were and that they were coming. But had that not happened, we may not have even found out specifically that mods were even coming until they just dropped. And it was, again, for the amount of added statistics that mods gave you, to find out about that literally, as they're dropped, that you're going to be able to, increase offense 47% and critical chance and 94% protection. And I mean, they pretty much gave us, you know, 6 dot mods and 7 dot mods accidentally. I mean, there were so many bugs and different things that happened, and they nerfed the mods. So there were so many different things that happened over the few days that were going on there. I wanted to make a video about mods, and I just really didn't feel like I should do that yet because I didn't know what the mods were even going to be at the end. So I just figured let me wait it out a little bit and see what ends up how it ends up shaking down, and then we can go ahead and discuss that. But overall, pretty interesting stuff. A lot of changes, and I mean, some of them are really exciting changes. Some of them are really great, and I feel like some of them still need to have some work done. I think that again, there's going to be a huge gap now between people that were able to make purchases for those mods in advance when they were at a 100% drop rate versus people that now are only getting them once every. I mean, I've done purchases since then, and honestly, it's like, I mean, for a full refresh, which is I mean, you're getting what, 1 or 2 mods, you know, some, and you have a chance to get not even 5 dot mods in some cases. Sometimes you get 3 dot mods, 4 dot mods. So I mean, not only have they reduced the percentage of dropped 5 dot mods, but they've also reduced it to the point where you can also, in some cases, not even get a 5 dot. You can get a reduced dot mod. So that's a significant nerf on the drop rate. So I mean, I can understand it being frustrating trying to catch up if you didn't have the resources at that moment to make those mod purchases. And even the cost of leveling up mods was so much cheaper on that first night. I mean, I pumped about 5 million credits into mods that first night, and they were easier to level up. And then, I mean, had I known that the cost of mods was going to increase so significantly, I would have, definitely spent more credits on leveling up that first day. It just, again, it was just, so many changes in such a short window of time. I'd have to say the most that I've seen overall. But I do have to say that the way the mods are now, that they've been nerfed, is probably a better way for them to be overall. I think that some of the mods, like the 5.8% health mods, are kind of worthless. I really don't feel like spending any credits on those mods, so I think that they may need to increase the percent health or something. I mean, some of the mods they nerfed really bad, and some of them not so much. Like, for example, critical damage mods went from somewhere in the high 40s to 36% critical damage. So that's, I mean, while it's still a nerf, it's only a 10% nerf, or sorry, not a 10%, more of a 20%, almost like a 20% nerf, versus, let's say, a 94% protection to 23% protection, which is a much, and I think in some cases, what, 47% offense to 5.8% offense. That's a huge difference. Whereas, like, some of the mods were only nerfed, gradually, or not quite as badly. So it's definitely interesting. Anyway, we've been going on here for a little while. I just wanted to touch base with everybody, show you guys where I was at with the droid team. Again, as always, if you have any questions or if you'd like to see me do anything on my next video, like, comment, subscribe, leave me a comment as to what you'd like to see next, and I'd be glad to try it out. If you get a chance, come on over to teamskunk.com to join us. You can always send me a private message there, and if you have any questions or if you'd like to, join one of our guilds, we are currently at 16 guilds, so that's pretty interesting. And we have a lot of people with great knowledge, people with much more knowledge than even I have, and they can answer your questions, and it's just a great group of people. So um, again, thank you very much for checking me out, and I will make a video again shortly. Sorry about how long it took for me to get this one out there. Thanks, and have a great night.